century to truly grasp the situation of conflict between Israel and Palestine. But before we start the video, let me welcome you all to our YouTube channel, Global Headlines Hub. Make sure you subscribe and follow if knowledgeable and informative content is what you are looking for. Discrimination and prejudices against the Jews are something that we have always read about and are a known fact worldwide. This feeling of hopelessness sowed the seed of a need for a separate nation in the minds of Jews, which was fueled by the efforts of an Austro-Hungarian journalist, Theodor Herzl, in the 1800s. During his leadership for the political movement named Zionism, Theodor, after careful consideration, settled for Palestine to be the home the Jews can call their own. Now, the question arises, why Palestine? As per the records, the history of Jews can be traced back to the Middle East. And also the fact that the Jews considers Jerusalem to be the holiest place cannot be overlooked. The whole of the Palestine back then was under the rule of the Ottoman Empire. Parts like West Bank, Gaza and Israel were not in existence. Even though there were no boundaries to distinguish between the realms of the Christians, the Muslims and the Jews, they lived in harmony together in Palestine under the Ottoman Empire. But tables turned when at the onset of the 20th century, a significant number of Jews started relocating back to Palestine to escape religious persecution across the globe. Now, picture this. It's the aftermath of World War I. The Ottoman Empire is on the decline. Post the war, Britain happened to have full control over Palestine from the year 1918 to 1948. Most importantly, it turned out that United Kingdom back then supports Zionism. This supportive attitude of the British back then was what came to be known as the Balfour Declaration. On the other hand, with everything else going around, Hitler gains political power in Nazi Germany and starts massacring millions of Jews in a genocide. As predictable as it could be, the graph visually depicted increasing momentum of Jewish migration to Palestine during these times. As the number of Jews migrating to Palestine grew under the British rule, the rift between Arabs and the Jews grew, with growing violence among the two parties, resulting in the British putting a tight leash over any more migration of the Jews. However, it was too late. In opposition to British governance, Jewish paramilitary forces emerged to confront the local Arab resistance. The conflicts prevailed throughout World War II. By now, even the Palestinians started demanding for a nation of their own. This was the time when the British surrounded themselves and handed over the issue to the United Nations in the year 1947. In turn, the United Nations proposed to partition the British Palestine into an Arab state called Palestine and into a Jewish state called Israel, with Jerusalem acting as an international city of importance. It was a good news for the Jewish leadership who declared their independence as Israel in the year 1948. But the Arabs were not on the same page as those of the Jews. This triggered the First Arab-Israeli War. The turn of events was not how the Arabs planned it out to be post the war. This war ended up aiding Israel in gaining more grounds. They now have taken control of the western part of Jerusalem and a great deal of land that was supposed to be a part of Palestine, leading to the displacement of thousands of Palestinians. As if it was not enough, another 6-day war broke out in the year 1967 that resulted in Israel getting full control over Gaza and the Sinai Peninsula, the West Bank and the Golan Heights. Although the peace treaties signed in the later phase signified the returning of this Jordan and Egyptian territories, there was still a very big question mark before Palestine. As a matter of fact, Jerusalem also has its own contribution towards this conflict. The extreme religious significance it holds for both the Jews and the Muslims led to an impasse, with neither party ready to make concessions on this issue. It would be fair to say that, along with the issue of refugee crisis, the effort of building Israeli settlements in the territories of Palestine and exercising full control or power over Gaza and the West Bank by Israel marked the beginning of the core struggle of Israel-Palestine war or conflict. Many hands were shaken, peace treaties were signed, and significant prizes were awarded. But the world still fails to put a period to the wars of Israel and Palestine.